Today we're going to be playing a game that originated with the Surrealism movement. And so the Surrealists, they would come up with a string of words or even drawings where the next Surrealist didn't know. So say you would pick a word like elephant, and the next Surrealist would say dress, and you would write these things down so they wouldn't know which word was coming next. And maybe the next Surrealist says running, and then the next one says on fire. And they'd have to draw an elephant who was running on fire in a dress. Something else they would do was they would fold their paper in half or in 4 or in 6, and they would draw, and then they would flip it over to an empty side, and the next artist would have to draw to create the next part, but they wouldn't know what was on the back side. So when you opened it up, it'd be something completely unique, and a lot of times didn't have anything to do with the other. Maybe on the top part, maybe they drew a cactus person. Then on the bottom part, they drew these tentacles. Or maybe on the bottom one section, they drew like Tigger bouncing. And then on the top section, when they flipped it over, you gave it to the next artist who didn't know that they had drawn Tigger, so they drew something else. And this is a fun game. The way we're going to play it is a little different than the Surrealist would have done it. What we're going to do is we're going to take a blank piece of paper, and we're going to simply fold it in half. And then while it's in half, we're going to make 2 marks to make sure that the middle section is 2.5 inches long. And so we're just simply going to put a mark at the 0 mark, and then we're going to put a mark at the 2.5 inch mark. So if I come down here, keeping that right there. And if I was doing this in pencil, I can erase it, but here's the 2.5 inch width. So all of these have to be 2.5 inches wide for this game to work. You see if the top section starts at 2.5 inches wide, and then you come up and you draw this spiky haired animal with these eyes, then it works. And so you can fold your paper in half, and you can make sure that it works with anything else. So it'd work with these legs, it would work with the Tigger, and it would work with anything else. Now, if you don't make it 2.5 inches wide, like this student made theirs 5 inches wide, it doesn't make sense. You put the Tigger up to it, it doesn't make sense. You put these legs up to it, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't work. And so it has to be 2.5 inches wide in the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, just make sure you go from the 0 to the 2.5 mark. So in between the 2 and the 3 where the long line is. Okay, it can be an exciting and fun game if you allow it to be. There's a few rules. One of the rules is I don't want you doing copyrighted things straight off the internet. Use your creativity. Although this Tigger is very high quality and they did a really good job on it, this was ripped directly off of another artist's idea, the artist who created Tigger. Don't do that. Do something more like this. Even though this is slightly lower quality, I like the idea because it's unique and it's original. In art, I always want to push you to do something unique and original. Bring something new into this world. And so you can see here, this person created this. Now, instead of folding ours in half, drawing something up here, and then handing the backside to someone else to draw, we're simply going to draw both the top and the bottom. And then that's going to allow us to fold it in half and pair it up with someone else's. And then we'll take a picture of this. And so you're going to need to pair yours up with a few different people next time. And we'll take pictures, 3 or 4 different pictures, and put it into our digital portfolio, just looking like this. But then you get to keep your original drawing, which is the full sheet. So, few rules: 2.5 inches in the middle, has to be 2.5 inches width. Let's look at that one more time. Make sure it's inches, not centimeters or millimeters. Here's millimeters. We need 2.5 inches in the middle. Has to be a unique character. And then the third thing is it has to be high quality. I don't want to see something that's low quality, that's not colored. The coloring is extremely important. This one, although it's nice, you could tell they did not spend time on the coloring. This is something that someone who did not try or put forth the effort to color it correctly did. So when you're coloring, make sure that your color matches and that it has nice smooth transition. Make sure you have plenty of layering. Create lots of soft layers. That's what this student did. If you press down too hard, you get the lines in it like this. It'd be better to build up several soft layers. Although this does look nice, and it is okay at sometimes to have marks in your coloring to create motion within the coloring. And this one is a very nice piece, very high quality. But I do want you to practice creating light layers. The way we create light layers is we turn our colored pencil on its side. We allow the side of the pencil and we create these circular motions that are very soft layers. And then we come back over it again and then back over it again. Starting to apply a little bit more pressure each time. You don't ever have to press super hard. If you press hard, you'll burnish it, which is okay too. There are times that we want to have some burnishing where it creates this glossy look. So you can tell if I'm still keeping it on its side, but I'm pressing really hard. And you can see here, someone's either drawn here and erased, or I have something underneath my paper, like a hair or something that is creating that. And sure enough, I've drawn on the other side. Which brings me to my next point. Arms, legs, anything that they're holding, if they're holding a trident, if it goes beyond the halfway mark, it's not going to make sense. You can see that this animal or this creature has a face, a head. It's the 2.5 inches, which is correct. But then the arms come down here and they come back up above the crease where it's breaking that barrier of the crease. So what would happen if I put legs here? Well, now these arms are just floating in air and it doesn't make sense. If I was to put a head on this creature, like this here, well, now these arms are cut off and it doesn't make sense. So make sure if it's holding anything, if it has arms or legs that are either coming down like this, you don't want it to cross that crease. The arms got to stay above or below the crease, as well as anything that they're holding. I hope that makes sense. I hope you are creative and unique and have fun with this. Remember, if it's not unique, if it's a stolen idea, then you're going to have to start over. It has to be unique. Also, if it's not high quality, I'm going to make you start over. So make sure to take your time. I'm always willing to give you more time if you're working hard, creating something that's high quality and unique. But if you're not, then that's when you're going to have to come in for tutorials. So make sure that you're putting forth effort for this piece, and I look forward to seeing what you create.